me ask you something. Have you ever thought, isn't storage saturated? Did I miss the boat? Are all the good deals already gone? Well, my name is Alex Pardo. Welcome to the Storage Wins podcast. And those are all questions that I'm going to answer today because I constantly hear those objections. And I believe this podcast episode is going to completely give you a reframe and a shift in your thinking. So if that thought has ever crossed your mind, I want you to know that you are not alone. Again, I hear that from people all the time. And in fact, at one point, I actually used to think that too. I was like, man, why didn't I get involved in this asset class back in 2010, 11, 12, when now here it was 2020, and now I'm getting involved, like, am I too late? And I want to unpack that concern and tell you why I believe that the opportunity in self-storage is still massive and why I genuinely believe that the best time to get involved in this incredible asset class is right now. But here's the thing, there's a big caveat that you need to consider. You have to know where to look. You have to know where to be plugged in, how to find the right markets, what makes up the quote unquote right market, and more importantly, have the right people, the right belief system. Okay, so let's dive in. First, let me go ahead and address that the fear is real, right? The FOMO, but it's also misleading. And I get it. I understand why. Like, you hop on YouTube, you hop on podcasts, you scroll through social media, and you might see a bunch of real estate influencers talking about all these different niches, some talking about storage. There's definitely more conversation around storage today than there was a decade ago. And you hear about the big REITs, right? The big real estate investment trusts like Public Storage, Extra Space, CubeSmart, that are scooping up all these facilities. And you might even see a new climate controlled facility popping up in your town or in your market. And you start to think, how do they do it? And I missed the boat. I'm too late. Here's what most people don't see that you really need to think about. Most of those are the big players. They're focused on what we call Class A facilities in top tier urban markets and metropolitan markets like where I live, Miami, Dallas. Those are markets where I'm not looking for storage. In fact, I've been in storage now for 5 years. I've never spent a minute looking for storage in Miami. Those are not the markets I go after. And those REITs, they don't go after storage in the markets where I like to look, the smaller markets, tertiary, maybe even secondary. You might find a few in there, but generally speaking, they're looking for the really big metro cities. That's where the sandbox that they like to play in. Okay, so understand that the big boys and girls, the REITs, they are not chasing the same deals that we are. They're looking for much, much larger facilities. I would say definitely north of 50,000 square feet, if not larger, where we're looking for, let's say on average, 10 to 50,000 square feet of storage in smaller markets. So we're playing a different game. That's the first thing you need to understand. The real opportunity isn't found where everyone else is looking. In my strong opinion, right, it's off market. Now, I have purchased facilities from brokers on market. It's definitely a viable way to get deals. I'm not discounting the ability to find deals on market. I just prefer to deal directly with a mom and pop storage owner. I find that you have more flexibility when it comes to structuring and negotiating deals, not just based on price, but based on terms. It's where I cut my teeth for many years. And on this podcast, we're going to be talking a lot about how you can find and locate these mom and pop operators that are not even on people's radars, the hidden facilities. They're found in towns that a lot of people ignore, but where the numbers make a ton of sense. Now, let's talk about why I believe storage is the best asset class. And I want to break it down for you here. In fact, I did a podcast episode just some weeks back breaking down why storage and the top 10 reasons. But let me just highlight a few for you here and give you a little bit more color that maybe I didn't on the previous show. Understand that storage is a recession resilient business. It's a recession resilient asset class. Why? Well, people move, people downsize, people go through life changes. Like you think about the D's, death, divorce, people get relocated and job transfers, and all of that creates demand for storage regardless of what the economy is doing. So look at what storage did in 2008. Look at what storage did in 2020 during COVID. Storage not only held strong while other classes took a hit, storage was thriving Okay, fact check me, look this up. Number two, the industry is still fragmented, right? If you have a belief and an opinion that storage is overly saturated or that there's too much competition, let me just give you some stats, okay? There are north of 60,000 storage facilities in the country. Roughly 65% of the facilities are still owned by mom and pop operators. Keep in mind, what is a mom and pop operator? A mom and pop operator is someone that is not very sophisticated when it comes to the marketing of the business, the operations. They're not maximizing revenue rate management. They haven't maybe raised rents in a while. Their occupancy might be low, or maybe their occupancy is high, but that's because their rents are so low and they're leaving so much money on the table. Oftentimes they don't have a website. They don't have any automation in place. And that right there, my friends, is the opportunity. It's what we call value add deals. We get to go in, and if you're plugged into the Storage Wins community and you have our roadmap and our game plan, you understand and know how to raise the value of the facility by doing simple tweaks, things that are very, very easy. You'd be surprised how many storage owners don't have their Google My Business listing claimed, which is free, by the way. They don't have a website. They're not doing any marketing. They're operating the facility as if it was 1990 instead of the 2020s. Number three, you do not need a perfect deal. You need the right deal. Most people are out there chasing shiny objects, but if you understand and know your buy box, right? And one of the podcast episodes, I think it was number 4, we talked about the simple checklist. We talked about how you can create your buy box, your storage deal avatar. In fact, if you go to storagewins.com/storage avatar, you can get access to my storage buy box template there, 100% free, storagewins.com/storage avatar. And make sure that you check out that episode as well, because I break down exactly how that works. Understand that with storage, it doesn't have to be a volume game like it was when I was a single family wholesaler. One deal, a couple of deals could have a significant impact on your life and on your financial situation. Let me share with you a super quick story. In fact, if you heard the last Storage Wins podcast episode where I interviewed Mario Quintero, who is somebody who he and I have had a friendship for ever since we were kids. And he reached out to me. This was about a little bit over a year ago or so. And he said, man, I'm doing well in my medical sales device job, but it's a job, I'm tied to it. There was just a lot of your typical concerns when it comes to working for somebody. And he wanted to go out and do his own thing. And so when he got started in our community a little bit over a year ago, life unfortunately got in the way. I always say when you decide and commit to do something, life is going to test you. There are going to be roadblocks. There's going to be challenges that get in your way. And many times that stops people. And in this case, it stopped Mario. He fell off. He wasn't plugged into our weekly Storage Wins group coaching calls or support calls. But about 4 or 5 months ago, he and I hopped on a call and I challenged him I asked him why he decided to make this investment of not just money, but time and energy, what he wanted storage to do for him. And to his credit, he hit the reset button. He recommitted and plugged back in. And just a few short months later, got his first deal under contract and just recently closed. And again, if you want to hear more about how he found that deal, how it got structured, how he financed it, how he got it over the finish line, then I want you to check out the previous episode after this one. So, but Mario's just like me, regular dude, smart guy, but he's not a genius. Neither am I, right? He just plugged into the Storage Wins roadmap. He followed the game plan and he just plugged into the community, started building relationships. And in fact, that deal came from another Storage Wins community member. So that is the importance and the value of surrounding yourself with the right people, being in the right community. And because of that, he was able to close on his first storage deal and now has actually already submitted a letter of intent on his second deal, right? Where it took him however many months to get his first deal. Right before he even closed, he was already sending an LOI on a second deal. Okay, so these are the types of opportunities that exist when you plug into the right community like Storage Wins. And now he's got a great facility that he's going to be generating cash flow from. It's got built-in equity, and all because he did the work, he plugged in, and that's the power of community and the power of proximity and having the right belief systems. Now, I also want to address the real danger. And this is so big. The real danger is storage saturated. The real danger is the story you're telling yourself, because here's the truth. It's hesitation. That is the danger, right? Because when you're on the sidelines wondering if it's too late, is it overly saturated? Did I miss the boat? I missed the wave, or whatever other analogy people say to themselves. Someone else is having a meaningful conversation with the storage owner. Somebody else is sending a letter of intent. Somebody else is under contract, performing due diligence, walking a facility. Somebody else is structuring a seller finance deal, like I've done numerous times, like other Storage Wins. Casey McKillop, he joined our community. 11 months later, he owns 3 storage facilities, all structured with seller financing. Okay, now I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm gonna shoot you straight. I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, and the ugly on this podcast. I'm saying this because I care. I'm saying this because beliefs kill more dreams than anything else. All right. I've seen firsthand how lives can change with just one deal, but you got to get in the game, and you have to stop thinking that there's going to be a perfect opportunity to do it and the stars are going to align. I hear so many excuses from people that reach out to me wanting to do this. And that's what they are. They're excuses. We all have the same amount of time in the day. The question is this a priority for you? Are you going to make a sacrifice? And are you willing to put in the time and energy because it's worth it? So lastly, I want to talk about where the good deals still live. Now, let me give you a little bit of clarity, because I will be recording another podcast episode specifically about what are the key components and elements of a strong storage market. But just let me give you some rules of thumb. And these are some of the filters that I teach within the Storage Wins community. I like to be in markets that have a population of between, let's say, 5,000 on the low end to 75,000 people. Now, this is a rule of thumb. I want to highlight that. It doesn't mean you can't have success buying in a smaller market. It just comes with a little bit more risk. So the other key factors and components have to really hold up. I like to be in a market where the median household income is $50,000 on the low end or greater. The higher, the better. I want to see population increasing over time. I want to see job growth. I want to see companies coming in. I want to make sure that the demand for storage in that 5 to 7 mile radius is strong, meaning there are more people than there are net rentable square footage of storage available to those people. And then I love to find the undervalued opportunities, the mom and pop operators that aren't doing any marketing or have no websites or no reviews or poor Google reviews. You go to the contact us page and you see like at yahoo.com or at AOL. That is where the opportunity is. If you are consistent, the deals will show up. And I want you to understand that whatever you believe is true. There's a quote that I forgot who said this, but the man or woman who says they can is just as right as the man or woman who says they can't. It's the same thing. The question is, what do you believe? Right? Tony Robbins, my wife and I were having lunch today, and we saw like a 2-minute reel of Tony Robbins coaching Theo Von, the comedian. I forget his full name. And he had Theo close his eyes, and he said, all right, Theo, look around, before he closed his eyes, he said, look around the room and spot everything that you can that's brown. And Theo starts looking brown, brown, brown. He says, okay, close your eyes. And then Tony Robbins goes to him, tell me everything that's red. And Theo started laughing. He's like, I can't tell you one thing. And the point of it was like, well, what you focus on expands. The fact that he was looking for brown, he probably spotted things that were beige that he called brown, right? Same thing. He spotted things that were burgundy that he called red. So take inventory of your belief systems. And that is one of the reasons that I believe the right community is a shortcut to your success. That's exactly why I built Storage Wins, because when I got started, I had great coaches and mentors, and I knew that I could figure this out on my own, but I asked myself why. It's going to take me more time, energy, money. Let me plug into people that have done this before. So if you've ever felt stuck, alone, concerned, afraid, uncertain, that's why we built Storage Wins, to plug you in, to not just give you the roadmap, but a community of like-minded people that are going to support you, hold you accountable, lift you up, eliminate the fog, the overwhelm, the confusion that oftentimes people get when they get into this business. And every single week inside of our program and inside of our community, I am coaching people just like you, many who have never done a deal before. Some are W-2 warriors. Others are burned out wholesalers, flippers, real estate investors who want more out of their business, more consistency, more cash flow, more time, more freedom. But they're plugged in and they're getting support and they're getting accountability. So they're learning how to source deals, how to structure them, how to build their portfolio that actually gives them their time back. So if you have ever been wondering, hey, did I miss the boat? Is storage too saturated? Let me be the first to tell you, no, you didn't, and no, it's not. I am extremely bullish and optimistic about this asset class. It is not going anywhere. It's only getting stronger. But you do need to take action, because look, the longer that you wait, the more doubt's going to creep in. And it's this cycle that feeds itself. So if you want to shortcut the path and get plugged into the system, the roadmap, the game plan, and get the support that's working right now, head over to www.storagewins.com. If you're the right fit, we'll hop on a call and see if it makes sense, work together, map out your goals, show you exactly how you can buy your first storage facility, even if you don't have experience or capital, because there is opportunity out there, but you've got to go get it. Okay. It's not an easy button. It's going to take some time and energy. But if you're willing to plug in, we can win together. So I will catch you on the next episode.